mean, there is on the videos afterwards, but I can never see the chat on here. Anyway, we're live. This is the second episode of Indie Rappers. This week, I have on somebody who has the greatest rap name, at least for my money. It's my buddy Johnny, aka KimJong Chill, the greatest producer name ever. We also got Faba on. Faba, I did not know would be joining us this week. It's good to see both you fellas. How you doing today?
Doing pretty good. Yeah, just sipping on some tea and enjoying the winter coming along.
Dude, I'm hungover from a wedding. I'm out here from the Bay. I forgot what cold felt like. I'm kind of in a rough shape right now, but you guys will make me feel better.
Hopefully, it just I walked out this morning. I went to go get some beer, and it's snowing here already. So it is officially winter. But anyway, so you KimJong Chill. I'm just gonna call you Johnny from here on out. It feels weird to call you by your musician name.
Kim, but whatever. You can just call me Chill. Whatever you want.
I'm not gonna call you Chill.
I found the name. I was digging for samples the other day, and the name of an actual, I think it's a person, is KimJong. And it almost, the first thing that like made me consider, like, man, I think I fucked up with my name. I think that should have been my name, KimJong. So yeah, if you want to call me Young Dong, like whatever, I'll respond to it.
Don Young Dong. Now it sounds like one of those names. There was a plane crash in, I want to say, China. Maybe it was the Malaysian Air Flights plane crash years ago, and somebody trolled the media, and the big outlets picked it up, where they had all these like super racist Japanese name, like Holy Fook, Bing Dang Pow, yeah. We Too Low. It sounds like one of those names.
Long or something like that,
yeah. Yeah, super fucked up. But anyway, so I want to get a little background on kind of where you've been musically, kind of what you're up to recently. I don't know too much. I mean, I've known you for several years, but I haven't really talk to you that much about what got you into music and kind of what you started with and what your general progression has been up to this point.
Yeah, it's a good question. Something I haven't really visited in my head for a while, because I'm usually like whatever, like right now. We'll start with now and work backwards maybe. Like right now, my favorite band is this group called Crumb that I'm like obsessed with, and they're like kind of like psychedelic rock-ish with like a female fronted yeah, I don't know, I think it's like a lot of like jazz influence, but I really like the jazz influence in there, because that's probably most of my music experience. Even still, with producing for like 8 or so odd years, I've still played jazz more than anything else. So like originally I played drums when I was in, I don't know, sixth grade, and did that. I really just considered myself a drummer until I met this guy, and was like, hey, I think I want to like make hip hop music. I don't know how to do that.
How long ago was that?
That was 2010. So
yeah, it must have been right around the time. And how long have you known DCAT then? Did you meet Faba through DCAT?
I met DCAT through Faba, actually.
Oh, okay. Okay.
In the first year that I knew both of them, so I've known them both about the same amount of time.
How did you meet Faba?
Through a tennis team, actually. We
actually met in 2006.
Yeah, we met in 2006.
I was the ringer on his like.
We were. I wanted to do intramural tennis. I wasn't very good, but I just wanted to play something and do a thing at college. And so I started a team and recruited a few people from my dormitory, and he was one of the people I recruited, and he just happened to be like one of the best tennis players in the state. And like the other 3 of us on the team were like, just like, but for almost all of college, he was just a person, that dude who was really good at tennis, who I knew once in my freshman year, but I didn't know him, and I didn't like reconnect with him until my first senior year. I had 2 senior years, so
I didn't.
But my 4th year is when I ran into him. He had been following a blues rock project I was doing at the time, and I invited him to do a few shows with us. We had like a bunch of shows booked, and I like wanted to like have someone rap over a few of our like more, I don't know, like groovy, smooth kind of.
You had been doing a Snoop Dogg verse, right?
Or yeah, I myself was
no.
bastardized in juice over what ended up becoming Crew Neck Sweater.
Yeah.
But it was just like a real funky riff that just sounded like Ting Tings and maybe like a Queen song or something mixed together. And yeah, I was like, oh man, like I know that like I wanted someone to rap on it, and I was doing it because like for lack of anyone else, and
no options. Yeah.
I don't know. He came to, what was the first one you came to?
Was it the rooftop one?
I think it was the rooftop.
But I was in the suit.
Yeah, he showed up with a crew, like 30 people, all dressed in formal wear, and showed up like halfway through the set and like shut down the party. It was great.
It was really dope. That was like the first time I the band, right? I didn't know. I hadn't met.
We
Cody.
hadn't rehearsed.
I hadn't met like Dan. Like I hadn't met anybody.
Yeah, for my bandmates, this random dude is just showing up in a suit, like to come rap over a couple of our songs. So
you didn't give him a heads up or anything.
I mean, they knew someone was, or we weren't sure. Like we had already started. We were like, well, if he comes, cool. If not, also fine. Like
DCAT and I started, as you know, right? You know, we started the Jewish fraternity chapter at Purdue, ZBT.
What?
You know about that? That's how I know
DCAT.
I met DCAT because we were starting a Jewish fraternity together.
That's the weirdest story I've ever heard. Okay, so how?
That's how we know each other. And so we had a formal or something. And so I was there, and then we all, from there, came to this show.
Are you Jewish?
I was like walking through the street like Purdue with like a line of like 30 people following me in like formal wear. We were like going to this party. It was a lit ass party. It was that Casey's place?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, on the roof.
Good.
Yeah, it was like this guy at Purdue like lived above like this bookstore that was really, or record shop. Well, I guess it was both, but like the store that was like an all everything store that was really dope. And he lived above it, and he would throw parties above it, and it was like the most lit parties besides our parties.
Yeah.
Besides
Well, you've got an interesting story too, Fab. So you came over from South Africa, right? Or am I wrong about that?
Liberia, West Africa.
Sorry, I'm a business major. I don't know shit about geography. I didn't even know until I was probably like 21 that Russia was like technically in Europe. I didn't know. I had no idea. Somebody pointed that shit out. So when did you come over then?
So I was actually born here and then moved back like right after I was born.
Gotcha.
Then I came back immediately after. Maybe like I came when I was a little under 3. Like 2 in like double-digit months, and I've been here ever since. And like
you still go visit stuff, right? I remember talking to you about that at the wedding.
I'm about to go visit in less than 3 weeks. The day after Thanksgiving, I'm flying to Ghana. I'll be in Ghana for a couple of days, and then I'm gonna fly back to Liberia. I haven't been since I don't remember Liberia, so it's gonna be a real like transformative trip for me. I'm really excited to go. And then I'm going to Ghana to check out the local music scene. Like Ghana kind of has like the more, well, I would say Nigeria has the more developed music scene in Western Africa, but Nigeria, I think, is like coming for their lunch money. And like they have, Ghana's coming for their lunch money. They have like really dope artists there. A lot of the dope dance moves that like pop off in our scene is like from Ghana. And like, I don't know, I'm excited to go see like what's happening there.
Do they have like a strong hip hop scene, or is there a specific type?
They've got a hip hop scene for sure. This is rapper Joey B. What's the other guy's name? Papa. Anyway, I can't remember his name, but I'll send you a link. And then there's like at the Afrobeat scene too, and even in the '60s they had like the high life scene. Like they've been doing their thing for a while, so I'm excited to go see it.
Yeah, that's something I'm interested in. I never really get around to it simply because I barely listen to any hip hop in general anymore. It's kind of gone to shit. Even kind of the indie scene is dying off. But I never put enough time into checking out hip hop music from outside of this country. And then, I mean, I guess I've listened to some Canadian shit, but if I'm speaking honestly, Canadian rap just doesn't even seem like rap to me. It seems like real light and soft. But I know there's like not a big what?
A Drake fan.
I dislike Drake so much that I troll him at any chance I get. In fact, it's funny you bring up Drake. I put in the description of this video, like and subscribe, or you're a Drake fan. I think Drake is complete garbage, but I think he's a nice guy. That's the thing that gets me about Drake. Here's the back of my phone. If you think my Drake troll game isn't on point, this is the back of my phone right now.
Dude, that's so disrespectful. I was into Degrassi, like when I was like in high school, like that, like the cool kids at my high school, like quotes, air quotes, on cool kids would like come to my crib and like watch Degrassi. Like that was our thing to do.
If you think that's disrespectful, give me 1 second. I'll be right back. Let me show you something.
That's hilarious. Yeah. So Slug, what's up with you, man? While we wait.
Just sitting here trying to soak up the indie hip hop atmosphere, and I have absolutely no idea what y'all are talking about with this Degrassi Tyson thing.
Okay, so here's the thing. Drake, you know who Drake is, right? Like biggest artist in the world. Drake got his start on this like Canadian like teen like soap opera-ish type show. You know, the type of show where like one episode the lead character, or it was like an ensemble cast, but like one episode a girl like gets date raped, and then how do you deal with this? And then on the next episode, like her best friend's pregnant. How do we deal with this? Like Drake was like the star basketball player of the high school, and then some kid that like used to get bullied came and like shot up the school. So he was in a wheelchair for like 3 seasons. Like it was like
you can see that illustrated in this picture right here. That's Drake getting shot. This is my Drake Trolla. This is my PS4 Drake Trolla.
You are ridiculous.
My Drake game is strong, dude. Next week I'll wear my Drake shirt. I got a shirt of just Drake's face from Degrassi.
So you know I'm a Drake fan, or like I will say that like it's hilarious when people troll Drake, and the best troll I've seen was actually John Mayer. So I went like John Mayer went on tour with Dave Chappelle like a year ago. Yeah, did you see that? And so they went on tour and they were doing like a combo show. Apparently they're like really good friends, and so like John Mayer would come out and do like a piano man-ish type thing on the guitar, but like he's hilarious because like people would request songs, and if he thought the song was shitty, he'd tell you it was shitty and like play something else. And then at one point in time, he went into like this rendition where he was like talking shit about Drake and saying like, well, he wasn't really talking shit. He was saying like, you know, Drake's huge and, you know, I love him, but it's really easy to emulate Drake. And so he just started like making up fake Drake songs like on the fly. Like, and they were like totally like dead ringers for Drake songs. He was like, yo,
they're all the same.
I'm going to tell you all this shit and no one's going to believe you because none of you have your phones, because they did the thing where they lock up our phones. So he was just like saying wild ass shit the whole night. And like, I don't even remember all of it, and I have no evidence. Like no one does.
John Mayer's a fucking loose cannon. That dude says some wild shit. I like him. My thing with Drake, I don't like his music, and I don't dislike the guy in general. I think he's probably a really cool guy, but he's so easy to troll because he's in this rap scene where it's full of like men trying to act masculine and machismo and all this shit. And he plays that card sometimes when he has songs that he wants to be like sounding a little bit harder. But then at the same time, he's got songs about this. We were at the Cheesecake Factory and you're acting up. And how dare you do this? This is a place with families. And he wants to be a nice dad who brings his son like sandwiches when he's got sleepovers and stuff. Like, ooh, who made some Drake burgers? You know, shit like that. And he, at the same time, he tries to play like rapper. I don't dislike the guy. I just find there's something inherently funny about taking Drake seriously.
Yeah, I think I will say though that like in hip hop, we have never seen a Drake, right? Like no one, like Drake got hot in the summer of '09, and he's been the hottest thing since the summer of, like every summer, the hot song of the summer is a Drake song, and from like 10 years going now. So it's like there's something to say about that, right? Like, like I know
Yeah.
it's like, and like it's weird, like it's weird that like two people on this podcast, like in the hip hop worlds that we are in, would like have a discussion about this, right? Like, that's what
I just think he's funny. I think he's funny. I think he would be a blast to hang out with. I think he's probably super cool. But at the same time, I can't. Every time I look at my PS4 Drake troller, it makes me laugh. So there is something inherently funny about Drake. I don't know what it is. I can't put my finger on it.
I love that. So the title of that, the name of that item is a Drake troller.
Drake troll. Yeah, I'll wear my shirt next week. Yeah. Well, that kind of got off topic there. I had a question, and then once I hear Drake's name, it immediately makes me want to just show everybody how strong my Drake troll game is.
You were talking about Liberia.
Yeah.
Oh, but that brings me back to, you were talking about hip hop, like just from other lands. And dude, there's really just one song that I found. I haven't really listened to other songs from this artist. I hope there's more. But this artist called Outer Space, it's a German. I think it's just a dude. I don't know if it could be a group. I think it's just a guy. And it's this ridiculous song. It's like I don't know. It's really hard to describe, but it's the most intense hip hop song I've ever heard. And it's in German, and it's like loud and crazy, but like really kind of like good a little bit.
Have you heard any of the ridiculous like Russian shit? I got a buddy, I actually met him in the Navy, and it's weird that I met him in the Navy. He's from Russia. He's like a proud Russian dude. He literally had a sickle and a hammer like on his, where this tattoo is. He was in the Navy. I don't know how he got in. He's from Russia. He would always show me this like way over the top bad Russian rap. I don't know if you've seen any of it. It's really bizarre. It's always some dude, like some bald dude with his shirt off and like too many tattoos and the physique of somebody who has just been drinking too much liquor, kind of like the physique of a 30-year-old hair metal guy, like entering the early 90s, where their gut starts to go a little bit, but they're still skinny because they don't eat and they just fucking drink liquor all day. It's always one of that. And then there's always some like girl singing a hook in a creepy, almost like Japanese way. It's some of the most bizarre music I've ever seen. And I don't know the names of any of it, but he would always throw this shit on, like at parties. Like, dude, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah, we only want the hits at parties. Come on, bro. This is not the time to experiment your B-side. Or
Dude, I was such a douche when I was like 18. I would party because I was one of the few kids who had like his own place at 18. Not my own place, which I had an apartment. And people would come party, and I would put on like Idea and Abilities like at a party. I would put on like Aesop Rock and shit. People would just be hanging out drinking, just a bunch of 18-year-old kids. And then there's just this over the top thoughtful shit in the background, and people would always take it out, and then I would get really angry. That was always kind of been a weirdo.
I would playlist like that, or essentially like my playlist that like I probably shouldn't play at a party, but if I'm feeling like I want to, then I play it. It's called Cry If I Want To, and it's just like all the hip hop songs that I want to hear, regardless of like what the fuck you want to hear. And I just put it on sometimes at parties.
It's or like, a great name for the playlist.
I don't have parties anymore. I don't have friends in the Bay. The gatherings I hold.
Or no, kickbacks. That's
that's what the cool kids are saying. Kickbacks. Yeah,
it's when you're having a party, but if the turnout isn't like if you call something a party, but the turnout is like less than you wanted it to be, then like you're a loser.
Yeah.
So like. Call it a kickback, and a kickback can have 3 people, can have 25 people, and like it's not a party until it's like 50 people.
Word.
Like so that's
so I'm throwing kickbacks.
Now you know it's a kickback. All right, like oh dude, yeah, somebody's gonna.
What do you call it when you just stay in all weekend and drink by yourself and listen to music? What is that called?
Depression.
Yeah, depression. yeah.
All right, that's popping off now, right? People got face tattoos and Xanax. Depression's popping off. It's big.
More than anything else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's why the music sounds like.
Yeah.
Well, that's what's. I mean, we're gonna talk about it at the end of the show, but the reason I even have Hodge here is because he knows nothing about hip hop, and I kind of want to get him privy to how weird things have gotten in the scene. So I gave him some homework. He listened to the top 3 songs on the Billboard charts right now.
What are those
I
songs?
did as well. Just one of them's Post Malone. It's not that bad, but it's like a sad, like, ooh, my girlfriend dumped me sort of thing. And then there's a Travis Scott song, which actually the beat is, I kind of like it. Like it's a strange beat. It's what is it called?
Travis Scott
Something mode.
Sicko mode. Travis Scott isn't bad. He's like one of the new guys that are kind of dope to me.
I didn't like this. I mean, I liked the production, but I wasn't a big fan of it. And then the other one is it's another one of these depressing, like my girlfriend left me songs, which is so weird to see rap going this way. Like a bunch of emo. It's emo. Like there's some emo shit going on in rap right now, and it's real bizarre. It's taken a complete 180.
It's definitely changed.
But they don't do it right.
What's hot? You know what I mean? I don't but I mean it kind of makes sense when you think about like who rappers are. Like the hottest rappers, you know, besides Drake, are gonna be like 18 to 22-year-olds. And like that is a very emotional time, like whether you want to admit it or not, in like a young person's life. So like I could get why it's going that way. Maybe not the sound of it, but like the kind of like emotion that's coming out of the music. It's like I don't know. I think a lot of it has to do with like the fact that like there is a stigma of mental health, just like with men in general. Like men don't feel things, right? Like. I don't know about you guys, but I don't have any feelings. And so so to that end, I'm saying like to that point, I think it is cool that like these kids are expressing themselves. It's kind of sad that like the expression that we're getting is like what it is, because it's like, damn, like are these cries for help or like what, you know? But I mean, they are.
It's over the top shit, and that's the part what I do get, especially a lot of the early music I made is super over the top, depressing shit like this. And at least from my experience, from when I was doing that shit, and I still do it from time to time, like the depressing music and shit. The album I'm working on now is kind of depressing, but you overplay it because I mean it's art, you know, like so you're not going to be like, man, today was bad, but you know, I've been through this. Tomorrow will be a little bit better. Like you're not going to just borderline play the fence, you know. You're going to go full blown into, all right, I'm feeling bad. Let's take this as far as we can go into depression land. So I get it. I just wish it was older people doing it because now, I mean, it's biased because I'm older, but young people being sad usually doesn't come with a lot of depth. It's just, I'm sad and here's the base surface of why I'm sad. Then you get older people talking about it. They probably understand that there's more underlying issues, and then you can bring some depth into that. Like I don't know if you heard I forget the name of it. I think it was Skeleton. One of Aesop's last albums was all about like mental health and depression and shit. And it was really good because it wasn't just that surface level. I'm sad, hear me be sad. It's like, man, I'm fucking sad and I got some shit to work through. Here's all the stuff that I know about what makes me sad, rather than just being like, you left me, baby. I miss you. Auto-tune. Got some Xannies. Tattoos on my face.
Yeah. The face tattoos are what scares me. Like, I'm okay with the new kids, right? Like, I don't necessarily listen to them, but like, you know, I mentor younger kids, so like, I kind of have to know what the fuck they're into. But like, face tattoos, it's like, yo, like, yeah, that's like a step. Like that's a line in the sand. Like you have a face tattoo. Like they're like, no matter how right or wrong it is, people are putting you in a category.
Yeah.
And that's not a category you want to be.
Remember when Tyson did it? When Mike Tyson did it, people thought he was the craziest man on the planet. And his tattoo isn't that weird now.
What's that?
When Tyson did it, people thought he was the craziest fucking guy on the planet. It was the craziest shit you had ever heard. Mike Tyson got a face tattoo. That's how you knew he was out of his. I mean, other than the ear chewing thing, the face tattoo was weirder than him biting somebody's ear off in a competitive sporting event. That's how weird it was back then. And now his face tattoo isn't even that weird in comparison to a lot of the face tattoos out there.
That's true. It's wild because Mike Tyson is like grown now and like. He's like his image is more sophisticated. He like speaks way more calmly and heady, and it's like he still has that big ass face tattoo.
That's true.
He like did like a Broadway like one man show or some shit like that with a face tattoo. Like, I mean, that's him.
What is it about the face though? Because like I got this. It's a big fucking tattoo, and it's right on my arm. So anytime I wear a shirt, it's right there. So what is it about the face? Like, what makes it so weird that it's the face?
I don't know. I guess maybe, I don't know. I'm sure it's like unconfounded, probably super irrational, but it's like your face is like your identity. And so that is such a permanent like thing to have tied to your identity. Like, and I guess maybe because I'm somebody who like, my hair changes all the time. I like wear glasses, they change all the time. Sometimes I work like like if you haven't seen me in 6 months, you could maybe not recognize me, right? And so it's like the face tattoo is such like a permanent thing. Like it's like, wow. Like I don't know. I like I said, it sounds irrational. I don't know.
I mean, your face is like a big part of your emotional body language communication, and it's interfering with that. It's like putting like a permanent mark on like how you communicate with people, like subconsciously. Whereas like something on your arm, it does that in a very tiny way. If someone notices that when they're having a conversation with you, that has a very tiny influence on the conversation. But something on your face is like, that becomes a part of your body language.
Yeah, it's like you don't have eyes on your arm. If you did, it would probably be just as weird.
Yeah,
right. Yeah, it's when you're communicating, you're not looking at somebody, so you're making eye contact and looking in the face. Yeah. That makes sense.
So and maybe this is ignorant, but like for deaf people, are hand tattoos like as like egregious?
It's very possible.
Or anyone that has to use like sign language, right? Like it's like.
That's a good question. I thought that was dumb at first, but then I just thought about it.
Yeah.
Oh man, I forgot.
You just constantly looking at the shit on their hands as they're trying to. That was the worst. By the way, this is the worst. Sign language.
Yeah, like it's like
what would be crazy. Who is deaf got hand tattoos to aid their communication, like strategic tattoos that they could like make more things with than
even more expressive.
Like that, it's an idea.
That's an idea.
Yeah.
It certainly is.
Excuse me, patent office. I'd like to have a patent.
One patent, thank you. For hand tattoos for deaf people.
That's how it works. Right?
So new projects. I want to get to this since this seems to be going in weird. I like it, but I want to stay a little bit on topic just so we can promote your new projects. You're releasing you've released a couple singles. Are you putting together something for a new like full length project, or are you just releasing singles right now?
Well, yeah, it's kind of in between. This one's gonna be 7 tracks, mostly like vignettes, like not complete full songs, but really the 2 features are what I want to get out there and have people hear. They're the most like complete thoughts, but then there's a lot of other thoughts that I've built around those that string together in a unique way. So yeah, that's the project. It's you would call it an EP for sure. It's 7 short songs. So
I think that's the way to do it. Release short projects. I mean, as long as you can make them sound like a cohesive piece, like one piece that works together. I think releasing a bunch of pieces that sound different is probably the way to do it. I think that's what people are kind of going towards now anyway. No,
not
people
too
aren't
long.
really releasing
That way,
20-track albums. And
2011, I was like, albums are dead. Like,
Yeah.
stop it. And then,
Yeah,
like,
he
7 years
was,
later,
yeah.
have it. The thing is, if you're that far off, then you weren't right. Because, like, you can say anything, and then, like, 7 years from now, it'll happen, right?
Yeah.
But
that's true.
I think it makes sense. Especially because there's just so much music out there. It's like, attention spans are short. And, like, when Pusha T puts out a 7-track project, then you know, like, there's a change in hip hop, right? Like, Pusha T wants
he
to
do that?
Yeah. His latest project was 7 tracks.
Oh,
Pusha T wants to bar you to death, like 15 songs each with 3 verses. Like, you know, it's wild.
I like the idea of the 6, 7, 8-track album, but like I said, only if it conveys a certain type of feeling. I look at, like, these days I'm looking more at albums almost like dreams in a way. Like, you ever wake up from a dream, you try to tell somebody what your dream was, but you can never convey what it was. It's because the feeling of it is what matters. It doesn't matter, like, oh, I was eating ice cream on top of a skyscraper and I was naked and then people were laughing at me. Like, that shit doesn't matter at all, like what the details of the dream. But what matters is that weird feeling that you get, and you can't describe the feeling. And that's kind of the way, like, I think a perfect EP is, where it's just got different songs of it, but it all conveys the same general feeling. Not even so much like a story or a concept, but like a feeling that feels like it's cohesive throughout each song. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
It does make sense.
Yeah, I think so. Or that goes right in line with the group I already mentioned at the beginning of the podcast that I've been into lately. What I was just listening to this morning is 2 EPs, each 3 songs each. And then one was released a year after the other, but it's about like 25 minutes worth of music. And it's like just, it's like bite size and like the perfect amount. And like 2 complete thoughts that also, even between the 2 projects, they go together but are separate. Like, just, I don't know, it just makes a lot of sense to.
It does. I think it also helps you, like, grow as an artist too, because when you're done with it, it's not a project that took you 3 years. So it's not like something that has taken a more than necessary chunk of time. And it's also something where now you're forced to move in a different direction with a new EP, with a new album, where it's like, all right, what is this one gonna, what am I going for on this project now, you know? So it forces you to create a whole bunch of different types of sounds just out of necessity. Because the last thing you want to do is create one EP and then be like, all right, here's my next EP. Sounds just like my last EP. It's like, you should have just made a fucking album.
Word.
Exactly.
And I think that, like, it's I know for me, like, as I've, like, taken this, like, long hiatus from music, like, creation and really listening, I wasn't really listening to music the way I normally do. I've noticed that, like, my thinking on the longevity of art pieces has really changed. Like, I used to think that, like, I mean, you could see it in, like, the way I used to rap. Like, it was very much like catchy stuff. Like, I was trying to, like, get your attention by, like, referencing this thing you may remember from your childhood, or, like, you know, talking about, like, some you know, sports star that people know, you know. But, like, I started realizing that, like, that is a very it's unsustainable. It's sustainable in terms of, like, creating output, but it's unsustainable in terms of creating output that lasts, right? And as we talk about, like, putting out EPs, it's like a model. You could think of a model of making music is like taking your band Crumb. Like, so they put 3 Crumb, like a bread crumb.
Yeah.
Dope. And so I love when people spell things the right way. Like, they spelled it like crumb. I was expecting it to be like KRUM, like with an umlaut, you know. But getting back to them, you know, they put out a 3 song project, and then the next year they put out a 3-song project, and, like, that is actually, like, to do well. You, like, that's an achievement, right? To put out 3 songs that you feel like will stand the test of time and, like, release them. If you did that every year, right? You should be making more than 3 songs every year, right? If you could put out 3 songs every year, right? that's like for the length of your career, you're putting out a lot of music, right? Like if you think about like LeBron James, like we put out 10 songs. It's like we were a grand band for 4 years. If we'd have done 3 songs a year, we'd have put out 12 songs. Like, you know, like, just to give you kind of like it seems wild to think of 3 songs, but it's like, how many songs do we really want from you anyway, right? Like, it's like, so I don't know. I love that the project is like 7 tracks. I love that it's like short and nice and like you can really kind of like vibe with it in a way that like I feel like our attention spans want right now in this day and age. And so
there's so much music too. There's so much shit to go through. So you need to pack more punch in your music. Whereas, I mean, even an album, like, let's just say, I mean, I know this is blasphemy, but we can go back to Into the Woo, 36 Chambers. That fucker is so fucking long, and there's so much ridiculous shit in it. The most offensive thing about that album that nobody talks about, they didn't put their intros and outros on separate tracks on several parts of that album. So to get to a song, you would have to hear them just fucking talking for like 30 seconds sometimes. And you could get away with that back then because to put out music, you had to be signed to a major record label or even like a major indie label, and there wasn't as much shit coming out. Now anybody can make music, so it's everywhere. So you better put your best shit out, or just not give a fuck. I mean, if you don't give a fuck about like really anything, and your entire goal is just to get music out there, then you can release everything. I think that's very short-sighted, but yeah, kind of what you're saying, Fob. I think our attention spans are too short for 20-track albums anymore. If for no other reason than there's just so many different ways to listen to me, to get music and to listen to it.
About that, though, I completely agree. But look at Drake's albums.
They're
like
as shit.
24. How long was More Life?
Yeah.
More like
I don't even know, dude.
Or something.
And then he put out a double disc after that. Like it's like
yeah, he puts out like 24 songs a year. Like it's ridiculous. So
an anomaly. I don't get it. I don't think that's a solid plan. Because, dude, let's be honest, Views was one song that was an hour and a half long. Views was the same song and then there was Hotline Bling. That was the album. He's an anomaly. I don't understand it. I'm not going to pretend like I understand. You know what it is, though? You know what it actually is? I think he gets a large amount of the female audience as well, whereas a lot of male rappers don't bring in the female audience like Drake does. Drake's getting that female dollar. He's a sensitive man. He talks about women. He makes R&B music, and he's getting enough of the chunk of guys who listen to other rappers to be super, super successful. But I think his success probably lies in the fact that he has a huge audience within women. And there's nothing wrong with that by any means.
And I think it's like, it's weird. I think I've never really articulated this, but I think Drake's strategy, like that camp, like the camp that is Drake, you know, like their strategy is very like capitalistic, like VC style, right? It's like they scour the internet for like new artists. They find a new artist that's hot, they remix the song, and they do that across so many artists, right? Like it's like any artist that signs with Drake, you're basically saying like, okay, I'm signing with this guy. I'm never gonna be as big as this guy, but I'm gonna eat because I'm gonna like put out songs, and maybe he'll get on some of my songs and they'll be hot. Maybe he'll take my best songs and make them hot. I'm getting a writing credit. Like it's a thing, right? And it's very similar like investing in companies, right? Sometimes you could be the CEO of a company, and then like maybe it gets bought out, and then they make you a VP now, and so like it's less, you have less upside, but like your base level has like risen, right? And it's like if you spread that across so many different like in Drake's situation, so many different like genres and so many different like local scenes, then it's like something's gonna get hot, right? So if he puts out 25 songs a year and 2 of them catch, the other 23 were worth it. And we'll
that's
listen.
why it's gross. From like an artistic perspective, that's why it's fucking gross. Like he's going out there trying to be Jamaican all of a sudden, like for a while, saying ting, like it's hackery. It's complete hackery. I remember I had to review the album Views for this podcast I was doing, and one of the most stunning things that I saw throughout that entire probably year and a half of reviewing an album weekly on the Billboard charts was the amount of people that wrote the Views album. Like every single song would have like 10 to 20 writers, which is more than regular rap albums even. And then the verses would be like, I don't know, what, 40 words long?
Yeah.
It's like, how the fuck did you all take a half a word here? How did this work? How is there this many writers for this little content?
Word. I think it's also interesting. You know, now that you say that, because like I'm on record as being a Drake fan, but I'm not like fandom is weird now in this version of hip hop. Because I'm a Drake fan, but like I don't even think I listen to Views all the way through. You've listened to more Views than me because you had to review it. I let the culture decide like what's the hot Drake song, and then I decide if I like that hot Drake song. But only I'm not gonna go look for it. Like the Drake song arrives, and then I make a judgment on it. And I tend to this song. So that's why I say I'm a Drake fan. But the last Drake album I listened to all the way through was probably If You're Reading This It's Too Late. And I was like 3 albums ago.
I mean, if I like a song, I gotta go listen to the full album, and that's why I don't listen to much music now. I mean, we're all. This is what happens when you get old and busy with life. You just don't have time to dedicate towards music. I think most of my probably like 18 to 25, like a lot of that time was spent checking out and listening to new music. And
well, that's all I did.
Dope as shit. Yeah, I mean, it was an obsession. And nowadays, it's like I barely have time for my own music. I'm pretty prolific. I put a lot of shit out.
Yeah, you are.
But at the same time, like I barely have time for my own music. So I'm not generally checking out new bands and checking out new artists and stuff. But when I do, I have to listen to like a full album for me to like really appreciate even a song in that album. And it's such a huge endeavor. Like I just finally got into the fucking Pixies because somebody convinced me. It's too much. It's too much shit to go through. I can't possibly dissect through the entire fucking Pixies discography. So therefore, I have all these bands that I've done the same thing with that are just up in limbo where it's like, I don't know yet. I don't know. Maybe by the time I'm like fucking 35, I can give you an opinion on this band. But I feel comfortable giving you an opinion on Drake because I've listened to like 3 of his albums all the way through.
Where?
Very mediocre to me. Very mediocre. Not terrible. Mediocre.
You know what's funny? I think you feel about Drake the same way I feel about well, I can't say this, and if you have any female listeners, they're gonna kill me. But like, I won't say that. I'm saying it's mediocre, right? Like, I'm not saying mediocre, but it's like Drake and Beyonce pop stars.
You cut off there.
Like, they can't be being a pop star necessitates like going to the median a little bit when it comes to like your art, right? Because like you need to like hit the widest base, and the wider the base that you're trying to like reach to, the less it's gonna hit, right? If I write a letter to you, Terry, right? That letter is gonna be so personal, and I know you well enough that like you're gonna enjoy the letter. If I write a letter to you and Johnny, like a joint letter, okay, now it's like the intensity of like and the validity of like the statements for both of you will be a little bit less, right? If I write it for like 10 people, then it's like, okay, now I'm kind of like writing to a group. Like maybe I'm writing a letter to the Pacers, right? But then if to write a letter to Indiana, like the state or like the United States, right? It necessitates generalizing things that like don't hit as hard.
Yeah, but that's what makes a really good artist, when you can make something that is broadcast to a lot of people, but still feel like it's a handwritten, personalized letter just to you. That's what makes a really good artist, because people can do that, but it's rare.
I totally agree. And I think that maybe this is like me trying to be still like a counterculture dude, but like a lot of times when that's the aim, then it misses me, right? And I think maybe that's where Terry's coming from with Drake, if I'm hearing it right, you know, like, because it's not like you're saying he's trash. You're saying like, you know, it's like, I think mediocre is a word. I think in this new culture, this new age, like people would label you a Drake hater when it's like, nah, you gave Drake a chance and it's not your cup of tea. Like, you're like,
I'm fine with it. The thing is, I don't hate him at all. There are rappers who I really think are complete garbage. I don't think Drake's complete garbage.
Right.
I don't know why he's so funny to me. is the thing. I don't get why it makes me laugh every time. Maybe I just picked something and rolled with it. You know, I think it is the Degrassi thing. It's that he's a rapper, but he was in Degrassi. There's something like really comedic about that. But no, I'm not a Drake hater. I don't even know what that is. That like are there Drake haters who?
Oh no, I when I was saying hater, I should have. It's more so just like anything you say negatively, and maybe I'm thinking about myself when it comes to me talking about Beyonce. Like people think I hate Beyonce, and it's like nah, like I just don't.
That's when if you attack Beyonce, people will get pissed off.
Like, but you know, I'm not a woman, so I don't know. She didn't do it.
I'm not a big Beyonce fan, to be honest. I mean, I think she's got a good voice. I think she's super, super overrated. I really liked the production on Lemonade, though, to be honest. I thought anytime anybody steps into, and I want to tread lightly here because the last thing I want this show to ever end up being is any political discussion at all. But there is a very fine line you have to walk when you're an artist, especially a popular one, and you start doing political stuff in your music. And not so much because, so the reason I kind of was like turned off by that album, and even a Tribe Called Quest's last album, wasn't what they were saying, and it wasn't the fact that like I didn't generally disagree with what they were saying, but it was all right, well, not even, this isn't so much a Tribe Called Quest, this is Beyonce, whereas like you're a musician, you've been a musician your whole life, you've been a millionaire for the last like at least 10 years, probably 15 years. And now you're gonna like, I mean, I come to you for entertainment, and now you're gonna like give me your political. You didn't make you're not Rage Against the Machine. You're not Public Enemy. You didn't make a name for yourself based on your thoughtful political commentary. But now all of a sudden, when it's convenient for you and when you can make money off of it, now you're gonna start changing and use an entire album to try to teach me political shit. It's like, what the fuck you haven't been in the real world ever. So what the fuck are you're gonna make it out? Like, come on, stop it. But again, it is to each his own. It just wasn't for me. It turned me off. But it was such a bummer because the production was so fucking good on that album.
Yeah. The hard part, so I think the hard part with Beyonce though is that like, so like for instance, like I can't say I liked Lemonade. I didn't really listen to Lemonade, but like I go back and forth with what you're saying because I like that like she like took a stance, like a lot of artists don't, and I like that she did that. Like I respect that. Like I respect the gall it takes to be Beyonce and take a stance when like a lot of her fans could like.
Wasn't that album more so about Jay-Z like cheating on her?
Lemonade.
No, there's a lot of like racial undertones.
Yeah, for sure. Lemonade's the one that she did at this, or she Lemonade was out when she did the Super Bowl thing, right? Like Lemonade has like the, yeah. It also takes like too, but
at the same time, it's like this is treading weird water here, but she has a nose job to straighten her nose and make it look more Anglo, and she has straight blonde hair. So to me, that does. You know what I mean? Like, it's a little hypocritical. And again, I don't want to get into that. But if you're going to make a whole album, you know, about what it was, you can't look at me when I can visually see you're kind of being a hypocrite here. I don't know. I don't want to speak too much on it. But it just rubbed me the wrong way a little bit. And when artists do that, a lot of times, especially if they're already established and famous, and I think that's what it comes down to. If you've been a famous multimillionaire traveling on jets, never have to worry about money for the last decade, and then you're gonna talk down to the people who listen to your music and try to pretend like you know what you're talking about politics because you're a brilliant musician, just don't do that. It's not a good idea because you live in such a different world than everybody else. I think all it does is fracture your fan base. And I'm a good example of that, where I listened to Lemonade. I'm like, this is a fucking good album. But God, like it just rubs me the wrong way a little bit.
No, I feel I guess that point is what I'm saying about the respect there. Like I like regardless of like I respect the fact that like she took a risk that would fracture her fan base. Like, you know what I mean? It shows. Okay, I believe in this, because that's kind of what you have to do when you're an artist now. And so I definitely respect that. But like, to take a step back from Beyonce and just talk about artists in general, and like I don't know, I love Dave Chappelle. I feel like I quote him all the time, but like, and this is, I'm gonna fuck this quote up, but like, he basically has this bit where he's talking about like 9/11 and like how after 9/11 they had like all these telethons, and they had the Dixie Chicks talking, and then like Ja Rule came on. He was like, "Who gives a fuck about what Ja Rule thinks at his highlight?
What the Dixie Chicks think?" Oh, get Ja on the phone. Get Ja on the phone. I remember that.
I mean, and you know, like, I kind of do get that, right? It's like I'm not coming for like, you know, to Ja Rule for like my political like.
yeah, that's the thing. It is different if you're like Public Enemy, if you're Chuck D, that's how you made your name. If your music has been an outlet for you to get your political opinions out there, there's nothing wrong with it. And in fact, that is like super honorable. All right, you have an opinion, you have an issue and things that you believe in strongly, and you've used music as a creative outlet to get that out there. Fantastic. But when Beyonce does single ladies songs and shit for 15 years, and then now when it's beneficial to take a stand, and that I guess that's the thing that really upset me the most about it. She was taking a stand when it was safe to take that stand. It was finally okay to like take the racial stance that she did. She waited until the perfect environment to take the stand where she could benefit financially from it, and then she took the stand. It's not like she was saying this in early 2000s where she could have lost endorsements and could have lost money.
As an artist, she's been saying this for years. So I get it. And maybe it's just like, for me, I'm definitely somebody who doesn't try to like as a Black person in America, I don't try to, I can't hate on someone trying to like help the situation. Like, I just gotta take like.
The thing is, it has more to do with the situation than the art. The art is just a platform, because art involves risk. Like, would you guys agree that like good art involves some degree of risk?
Totally.
And what Bill is saying is that like, she took the least amount of risk possible, like, in the route that she took.
Thank you. Okay, that's a perfect of what I was saying. Thank you.
Yeah.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah, I mean, again.
Yeah.
So that was a weird digression into Beyonce. I didn't think we'd be talking about Beyonce today.
Yeah. Is that in your liner notes? Make sure we talk about it at least 10 minutes.
Make sure Lemonade is on the agenda.
I have a question. Sure. And to clear it up, you know, Beyonce, you're lit. Your career's lit. Like, it's lit. But I have a question I wanted to ask you all. I'm a huge fan of the Joe Budden podcast, right? And like, it's one of those podcasts where it's like, it's long and like you have to wait to like get to the juice, like, you know, but there are gems sometimes. And they had a discussion about artists and the difference between now and kind of like, you know, maybe like 20 years ago. And you know, all of us are artists now, but like, we can imagine, and it's documented, the process it took. And you kind of spoke to it earlier, that like how like Wu-Tang was allowed to have intros on their album because they already had gotten through the gates, and like, we were going to get a Wu-Tang album, right? And we were going to listen to it because they were putting it out almost. It was almost like this like self-fulfilling prophecy. So I wonder what you guys think about if it's easier or harder to get on right now. And like, get on is like a nebulous term. So it's like, maybe like, let's define it as like I don't know how you would define get on, right? But like, we kind of all know what like I mean when I say that. So it's like, do you think it's easier now as like an artist, like a hip hop artist, to get on, or would it have been easier in like 95?
I think it depends on what two things: your intentions and what specific kind of rap you're making. I mean, it is a good question. I would say it's probably harder to get on now because the pie is broken into so many different slices. I think if you were able to back then break even into a crevice of the door, this is going to be a weird metaphor, but the building had less rooms. So it was this big mansion of, all right, near your rapper. If you could just sneak into the mansion, you might be able to find your way into like your slice of pie, into a certain room. But now it's like the mansion just has, it's all sectioned off in little tiny cubicles. So I think even more of so it's easier to make music and it's easier to get recognized for your music. But as far as making solid money off music outside of touring or getting a huge name for yourself, like say a Drake, I think there's even less of those people out there right now, simply because there is so much competition and the pie is broken off into so many more sections. Does that make sense? I mean, I could be wrong there.
Yeah,
no, that makes sense.
No, or that makes sense. But I think that's not necessarily a bad thing for music. I think what's happening is the spectrum is widening. It used to be polarized of either you were a musician who no one's fucking heard of, or a musician who has a major label and studio, whatever, a complete backing, and you're one of the, like in the 50s, there were like 30 acts that people really listened to. Like it was, and then if you weren't one of those, then you weren't anything. There was no in between. But now the spectrum is like slowly been widening, and that like pretty much since 2005 with the creation of a dual core processor, it's only skyrocketed since then. That made everyone like from then on, it was like, studio is officially not necessary. It was getting there already, but like after post 2005, you officially didn't need a studio in order to make professional quality music. And it's only gotten easier, it's more, I shouldn't say easier, but more readily available to make music that doesn't involve money or backing or anything. And what that's done is create a lot of working class famous musicians, like people who are on the radio. There's a very big misconception of like, if you know a group, oh, they must be like famous or be making money or whatever. Like, and the reality is that like, no, like some of your favorite bands like probably make less money than you do at whatever you're doing, even if you have a great job or not a great job. Like if they're doing music, that means that they're spending a lot of time not making money in order to make a little bit of money to continue to sustain that art. And what that creates is a bunch of people who are doing it because they really give a shit about doing it, and they're not doing it for any other reason other than to make that art. And I think it's really cultivated a lot of things. Like again, the band Crumb that I was listening to, I don't think they're making a lot of money, if any money right now. It'll be maybe at least a couple of years before they can really like be sustainable. But they've been making music for years, and it's music that they give a shit about. That's really fucking good. And that comes through in just in the art that they're making. And
Agreed.
Like that wouldn't have existed even like 10 years ago. A band putting out like a 3-song EP one year and another 3-song EP the next year would be like, no one would listen to that. Like YouTube wasn't really quite the thing that it is now for people to cruise and find stuff like that. Like it just would have been way harder for them to do that. But I think it's on a low level being very successful for them now, which is great to see artists like have that type of like, the threshold is much lower for that type of support. So I don't know. I think it's.
I completely agree. I think it's better for music altogether. I would never have been able to make music. It also allows people to learn through practice and actually put out like songs and albums and stuff, even when they have no idea what they're doing, and then progress. You know, like you never used to be able to do that. You never used to be able to spend a few $1,000s and have like a pretty decent studio setup. But as far as getting on, like it's so much more difficult now to get it. Like you were saying, you got like even bands on the radio now, probably working jobs, you know? So it's more difficult to get on just because there's so much more. It all comes down to like supply and demand and labor force in general. Whereas before, I don't know if it was because the record companies got to pick and choose their labor, but there was a lower amount of labor for making music and being a popular musician. And there was always that demand for it. Whereas now, I think the demand is relatively consistent. Like I was saying, it's younger people with a good amount of time that are interested in music. I don't think that's going to change too much. The demand's always going to be there, but the supply is so high that your labor as a musician is now way undervalued in comparison to what it used to be even 10, 15 years ago, which again is a good thing, because you start to weed out the people who really don't want to be doing this, you know, and then you end up with people like me or like the band you're talking about who go to work, you know, fucking work their jobs, work 60-hour work weeks and stuff, but still find an escape and find value and find accomplishment in making music for me personally, not even for free. I spend money on every album I make. I pay Ghost Shrimp $1,000 for the artwork and everything now, and I try to advertise some stuff and here and there. I lose money on everything I make, but I do it because I love it, and it helps me. It helps, I wouldn't say build my identity, but it's a representation of my identity, and it'll the current state allows for that to happen, whereas it didn't before. But it's definitely harder to get on. My battery's running out. I'm going to go grab my charger, guys. Talks amongst yourself for a minute.
All right. Word.
So, Slug, where are you located?
Currently living in Hoboken.
Oh, Hoboken, right. We started talking about that earlier. Are you from that area?
No, originally from Pennsylvania, about an hour south of Harrisburg, but I recently moved to the city about 2 years ago.
Nice, nice. You liking it there? It's a pretty fun place.
Yeah, it's all right. I don't mind it too much. The public transportation system into the city from Jersey is pretty terrible, but this is kind of weird because I absolutely know nothing about indie hip hop, so I'm just kind of blind into this whole thing, just kind of trying to pick up everything y'all are saying.
Yeah.
What kind of music do you normally listen to?
Generic rock. I mean, I'll listen to hip hop, but I'd assume it's very generic. Like anything that's popular or recommended on iTunes. I don't really dive too deep into it. It's not like a really big interest of mine going into like music. But I mean, now I'm listening to more of it because of this podcast. So I mean, it's interesting stuff. I don't dislike it.
Yeah. What's your most recent favorite project or artist or song?
Started listening. This is gonna sound cringy as hell, but like I started listening to the 88 Rising Joji stuff.
Oh dude, yeah, that's not cringy at all, dude.
You're talking to the right people.
Yeah, dude. Any artists I've seen come out of 88 Rising is like really, really dope. Yeah, dude, that's great. How'd you come across Jody?
I was into the Filthy Frank scene for a while, and then since he switched from doing the YouTube videos to doing more music with 88 Rising and then the Joji stuff, I just started listening to that, and I thought it would be similar to like the Pink Guy album, right?
I don't think so. I'm not super familiar. I'm really just in the last like month I've gotten more familiar with anything from 88 Rising. So
right, the Pink Guy is from the Filthy Frank YouTube video kind of thing. So it's really just edgy humor, like edgy internet meme humor kind of thing.
Okay,
it's almost the polar opposite of what Joji does. You know what I mean?
Gotcha.
It's kind of like his characters, right? So the character of like, I'd assume this indie hip hop rapper who's very thoughtful and very deep with his lyrics and trying to go that route. It's complete opposite to the Pink Guy album, which is just trash and like disgusting, repugnant humor.
Well, honestly, your description makes me want to check it out even more.
You absolutely should. You absolutely should. It's
yeah, I don't know. Is that
the dude from 88 Rising? I went to the bathroom. Yeah. Same guy. Yeah. His real name is George Miller, but he has like the multiple characters. Like Joji's a character if you were to look at it from that point of view. And then Pink Guy's another
character I know from him, so didn't realize there were once.
But hello, William.
Hi. Well, I mean, where are we at on this? I didn't even really check the time. I usually try to keep these to, I say usually like I've literally 100% of the ones I've done of these were last week.
Yeah. Yeah. What do you usually do? Yeah.
I usually talk to Joey, Lucid Optics. I usually keep it to about an hour and 3 minutes.
Okay.
Usually don't talk about Beyonce.
Well, now half the time you talk about Beyonce.
Dude, you talk about Beyonce all
Exactly.
the time.
50% of the time. That's not usually, though. That's only part of the time now.
Yeah.
So maybe in the future we'll get back on into the Beyonce discussion. Has she released anything lately?
Talk about it.
Just out of curiosity. It's a legit question. Has Beyonce released anything recently out of curiosity?
I don't know. They're on tour, right? Isn't Beyonce, Jay-Z on
Yeah,
tour?
there was some. I saw something like her. I think her and Jay-Z put out a song together.
Yeah.
Carter's or something.
Yeah. I think they have a thing.
Oh, Faba. Here we go.
Yeah. What's
We
up?
can have this discussion. I remember we almost we ended up not we. I think it was me and DCat, and then you and somebody else were at a bar one night, and I had made the claim that Jay-Z is one of, if not the most overrated rappers of all time, and DCat agreed with me. And I remember we were yelling at each other, not angrily, but it got really heated. So we can rehash that for a minute if you'd like.
Yeah, for sure.
Was it my buddy Michael that was there?
Probably. I don't remember. It was years ago. It was in Chicago.
Strongly disagreed with your statement.
I don't know, dude. I seriously don't remember. We were just at some bar, but I remember I got very heated.
So to me, it's
in
kind
a
of
friendly way.
I wouldn't say that. To me, it's kind of like it's. I won't say I feel the exact same way about Jay-Z like I feel like about Beyonce, because like there was a time in my life where I was listening to a lot of Jay-Z, but like, you know, I like Beyonce and Jay-Z, they're like hip hop royalty, and so like with royalty, there's respect that is given, but like I don't necessarily. I wouldn't say he's the most overrated rapper of all time, but like I'm not like I can't go that far at all. Like, but it's like if I had to pick my top 5 favorite rappers, Jay-Z wouldn't be there. And if I had to pick my top 5 that I think like, you know, like you have your favorite rappers and then you like, there's a top 5 list of like who you think is the best, almost like as like offering to the community, right? Like not your, and like he wouldn't be in that either, right? Which is, that's blasphemous for most people, but like, you know, there are.
Well, I guess I misunderstood. Maybe I thought that argument went somewhere. I thought you were like super on the Jay-Z side, because I remember somebody, it must have just been the other guy, got super upset about that.
It could have been Michael. If this was in Chicago, it definitely Michael is a stand for Jay-Z. He thinks he's the greatest of all time. And I've argued with Michael a lot about how he's not. Right?
Damn it. I thought it was you and that guy. I thought it was you because I was about to. We could have had a fun like 10-minute argument there, but I guess we both just kind of agree. How about some?
I don't beef with Jay-Z. Like I don't but like again, I there was a time in my life where I love Jay-Z for like a second. You know what I mean? Because the guy who actually like got me into rapping, like the guy who kind of like molded my like early rapping skill, was a huge Jay-Z fan. And so this guy named Tairy.
I never met him.
Nah, you never met him. But he actually used to live around here. Johnny, he lives in like
was Ontario.
But he was really into Jay-Z, and so I came up listening to Jay-Z a lot. But like I don't know, like to give you an example, my favorite Jay-Z album is The Blueprint 2. Like that's most people's like most hated Jay-Z album. I
thought you were gonna say The Blueprint, and then you said 2 at the end of it.
Blueprint 2. That's the time I was listening.
Is that the one with the hard? Wait. Is that one with Hard Knock Life and like all that shit, or is that
the one during the Nas Jay-Z beef? Like the second one. So like it's like a "Excuse Me, Miss" is on that. Excuse me. That one. What else is on the Blueprint 2? The song "The Blueprint 2." I don't remember, right? So it's like, yeah, this is my favorite Jay-Z album, I guess. But like, I don't know Jay-Z's catalog like that. Like I know,
damn it,
Jay-Z, but. You know.
I thought that was prime for a debate there. Well, how about this then? How about we'll kind of finish off with this before we let Hodge give us his thoughts on the current state of rap after listening to 3 songs. Top 5, and this is such a hack topic, but I haven't done it yet. Why not? Top 5 albums for both you guys. And I know it's always I mean, you never really know, but just off the top of your head, give me like top 5 hip hop albums.
I guess hip hop. This is a hip hop show.
Just hip hop. No. We're not doing. Otherwise, I'd fucking put a bunch of Wilco in there, and nobody wants to hear that.
Except for millions of people.
Yeah, I was like, Wilco is like, especially like
fucking love Wilco. It's like dad rock, but it's my favorite.
Okay, let me think about this. Top 5 albums. Midnight Marauders is there.
Yes.
That's in there for sure.
Organics, the first Roots album, is like one of the best Roots albums. That I think my top one, and because I'm biased, this was like really one of the first hip hop albums that like pushed me into like, oh, dude, I need to listen to hip hop. Was the Roots Game Theory. Not particularly one of their more popular albums, and really like the only hit that was on there was like Here I Come.
Yeah.
But like, dude, that
Living
whole
in a New World, a really good song from that album.
was like, oh man, like Don't Feel Right, and but the first track, or it was the title track, Game Theory, right? Was just, oh man, that was like, I guess I'm biased because that just blew me into the world of hip hop, but like, it's still like, I don't know, still up at the top for me.
You heard? I mean, I'm sure you have, just because Roots are the best. But how do you feel about Do You Want More and Ill Half-Life? If you had to pick one of those 2 albums,
I definitely listened to the Ill Half-Life way more. But dude, what's the one? Phrenology.
Break You Off was on that. I love that single, Break You Off. Coming to break you off.
Things Fall Apart. Can I just pick all Roots albums for the time?
Fall Apart's fantastic too.
Common B. That I
wouldn't put that on my top 5, but I like Common a lot.
Okay. I would put that in my top 5 hip hop albums for sure.
What's my top 5? I have 3 of the top 5 right now. It's in no particular order: Midnight Marauders, Illmatic, and
of course,
Dipset, Diplomatic Immunity. By far, one of my favorite.
What? Okay, I wouldn't put that in my top 5, but you are the only person I know that, dude. I fucking picked that album up when I was in my mom's in the back seat of my mom's minivan, so I must have been like 15.
Where
I still love those beats. They do not get enough. They do not. I mean, it's because so many of the rappers are so fucking terrible in Dipset. But they do not get enough. Is it mostly Cameron? Like, the production on those albums is so fucking solid. And almost every sort of Dipset album, I mean, they'd only had a couple, but even like Cameron's albums.
Yeah, Cameron's beats.
Production is fucking solid, dude. Every time.
Amazing. So those 3, and
for you, 808s? Is that up there?
I really like 808s, but it's like, I wouldn't put it in my top 5. I want to put a Kanye album in my top 5, but I'm more of like a cumulative Kanye fan. Like, I don't know that there's one album. Like I'm not one of these college dropout people. I love College Dropout, but like, it's not like I don't miss the old Kanye, right? It's like now recently I haven't really liked his stuff, but so I guess the Kanye album doesn't go in.
I'm putting Life of Pablo in my top 5.
Really?
Yeah, dude. That's one of my favorite albums.
If anything, if I had to put a Kanye album, if you twisted my arm to put a Kanye album in there, I'd put in My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy, which I know is like.
Yeah, I think you would have to if it's a. I agree with you.
I can't get mad at anyone for that being their favorite.
Like, for right now, let's say that's in there too, I guess, because I feel like it would be disingenuous for me not to have Kanye represented. Like, so, and then one more album. It's weird because Mos Def is the rapper that I would say, like, if I need a verse for my life, I want it to be Mos Def giving me that verse. But I don't know that I want to put Black on Both Sides as one of my top 5. I don't know.
So hard, I know.
It's so hard. I don't even know if I really want My Beautiful Dark. To be continued. But Diplomatic Immunity, Illmatic, and Midnight Marauders are definitely all in the top 3, hands down. The other two, I don't know.
I know my last one.
Kind of a cop out, but I'll let it go.
Mine might be a cop out too, but just based on like sheer listening time, like Get Rich or Die Trying is like one of my favorite albums. Like it's so
wow, ballsy pick there.
Ballsy pick.
It's not a bad album. It just sucks that 50 Cent came with so much commercial baggage as far as like the way he was portrayed, and he was pushed so obviously that like it became almost hacky. But I haven't gone back to that album in a while. There's a lot of good songs on there, even though it's 50 Cent. Just sucks that it's 50 Cent and like
High All the Time is like one of the hottest songs like of the century. It's like I don't know.
That's a good song. I forgot all about that one, dude. I was thinking like even Many Men's a great song.
Dude, he like every. Oh,
but man, I like the album before that too. Power of a Dollar. Have you heard that? The one that like was supposed to come out.
As the World Turns is a fucking great song, dude. As the world As the World Turns. Was that on that?
It's on there. Ghetto Quran is on there. There's a lot of. Damn, I'm trying not to cop out. I want to give you 2 more albums. As placeholders,
you got time. Keep thinking. You got time. I still got to go through mine, and Johnny's got to hit his up. So you don't need to make a rash decision. Okay. I know how important this is.
I've got the 3. I've never actually done this. I didn't even say rappers, and then you said albums, and I was like, oh fuck.
Albums. We can do rappers next. Let's do rappers next, though. By the way, just to finish them up. It's never done this before. It's like such a fun game to play because it always changes too. You always have like a couple that are in there every single time, but just based on the moments, a lot of times the shit changes, especially with albums. So, all right, continue, Johnny. What else you got for me?
Did I give you 4?
I think it's giving 5. You said the Roots joint. Midnight Marauders was on yours too.
Yeah. Life of
Pablo.
Maybe I did only get 4. Or Game Theory.
And
then Get Rich or Die Trying.
Yeah. All right, that's his 5.
5. Okay. I hit my quota.
Okay. I got 4, and I don't know what to do with the last one. I'm kind of in Fapa's boat here.
Yeah, dude.
I have to put Firstborn in there, and this is kind of one of those. It's Idea and Abilities Firstborn, but I heard that album when I was 18 and I just moved out, and I was taking a bunch of DXM, and Idea was rapping about like quantum physics and like Plato's like allegory of the cave and like just weird shit. And I didn't know you could rap about stuff like that. And it blew my mind more than any album has ever blown my mind out. I've listened to it recently. It's good. There's a lot of filler. But at the same time, it might even be my favorite album ever. So I got that. What else? I got Illmatic. I mean, you have to put Illmatic in there just because it's fucking Illmatic. I actually have Fantastic Damage by LP in there.
Wow.
I just like how fucking gritty it is. It's so grimy. I miss the old. I don't want to say the old LP, but I wish he would go back to just being a fucking weirdo and making weird shit. That's another reason why I don't like rappers being super political, because sometimes they're abstract rappers, and I want you to continue to be an abstract rapper for my own entertainment. I want you to say weird shit all the time. I don't want it to be rooted in reality. Like, I like a lot of weird stuff. One that I'm surprised you guys didn't touch on, Mad Villainy. That's like it's the play. You know how many avatars and icons I see of like on hip hop channels of just Mad Villainy. Not only is it one of the greatest albums ever, it's got the greatest cover ever. And I'm trying to think of the last album on here. I really don't know.
What it really is 5 is an arbitrary number, and you have 4 favorite hip hop albums.
Well, I have more, but that's like my top tier. And the thing is, like, I would put Operation Doomsday in there too, but I already have an MF Doom album in there. I could literally fill this list up with just every MF Doom album. I think he's got the most solid discography.
For sure. That's what I would do with Roots, and I settled for one Roots album.
It's hard to do. It's weird to do a list because a lot of times you just have the like your favorite band. Like 3 out of 5 of these could be that. Maybe even Eat-On's like Beauty and the Beat. Maybe. I know there's got to be something. There's got to be like another one that I could throw into there. I even might here's a wild card just for the fuck of it. Why not? Spankmaster by Kool Keith. That's easily in my top 10. No one knows about that shit because it's a terrible album, but it's such a terrible album. It comes out the backside as a classic album. It's the most bizarre, strangest album I've ever heard.
Yeah.
It's Kool Keith at his weirdest, his most drug-induced, like cracked out music. Lots of like synthy, cheesy, bassy stuff. If you've never heard that one, and most people have not, I would definitely give it a listen. And on first listen, you're gonna be like, "What in the fuck is this? This is garbage." But it's not though. It's actually a really good album. So that might be my top 5.
And I can't pick a mixtape because I'm such a mixtape influenced rapper. But I feel like it's unfair to pick a mixtape. So
if one's good enough, I mean, you can pick one if this one's good enough.
I feel like I shouldn't. I shouldn't pick a mixtape. It's a cop out. If I'm gonna give it, I gotta give 5. I won't pick a mixtape.
Well, what's your favorite mixtape though? What's your favorite mixtape? What's your favorite mixtape?
My favorite mixtape is definitely Wale Back to the Future. I love Wale Back to the Future. It's I don't know. It's him and Ninth Wonder, and Ninth Wonder is amazing, and Wale
is the shit.
Just like rap over like lit. Like this is like the end of like this was the end of the I don't want to say the end of Wale era because like that's disrespectful, I guess, but like this is like Wale at his peak on Ninth Wonder beats. And it's just like amazing.
I forgot about Ninth Wonder. Didn't he used to produce a lot of Sean Price's stuff?
Yeah,
I know he did Monkey Bars.
I mean,
that's another album.
Sean Price, but Sean Price was definitely rapping on Ninth Wonder beats. Everybody at the time was trying to. Drake has rapped on a Ninth Wonder beat.
Like, you don't know much about Sean Price? Sean Price is somebody you should go back and check out from your. He used to have this band.
I'm familiar from I'm a third party I'm a transitive Sean Price fan. My man's just hanging out with Donnie Georgette. He used to just always have Sean Price.
Okay, album Monkey Bars. Monkey Bars is good.
So Midnight Marauders, Diplomatic Immunity 1, Illmatic, and then I will say Black on Both Sides by Mos Def, just because like I can't think of something to like put above it. In this group, and then I will say I almost want to put another Nas album in, but I won't do that. We'll say I'll just put My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy. That is a cop out to me because I know there's something else I could put there. Safe to say that, and like. That is clear. Like I've listened to that album so much. I love it.
Oh, fucking I Phantom. That's my 5th one. Mr. Lift's I Phantom. I knew there was one that I was totally forgetting. Sorry, it just hit me in that moment.
No doubt.
No, My Beautiful. That's a good one though. Like that's not a. I'm not gonna fucking blame you for putting that in a top 5.
Yeah,
it's good. Album. All right. You guys want to do 5 favorite rappers, or do we just want to go to Slug's interpretation, Hodge's interpretation of the current state of rap through 3 hip hop songs?
The rappers might take too long. Let's
All right, Hodge, here's your moment to shine. So Hodge listened to the top 3 rap songs. Do you remember what they were? There was Post Malone.
Yeah, it's what is it? Better Now is number 3. Lucid Dreams by Juice, WRLD.
That's
all capitalized.
Yeah. So
listen to Juice WRLD. I don't mean to cut you off. Juice WRLD is like one of these new rappers that just like, he just does the stuff that the new rappers do. He is an amazing freestyler. Like, and this is coming from I would call him a pretty good freestyler. Like, he is amazing at freestyling, and he freestyles like I don't want to say like a real rapper, but like, go listen to his freestyles. He's good. Sorry,
I just got Kanye, and I was Taylor Swift right there. I'm gonna hold you for a second, tell you the best video is, and then number 1 is Sicko Mode by Travis Scott's. I don't know.
How did you feel about these? What's
Well,
your favorite? What's your least favorite? And why?
favorite and least favorite, I guess, is a way to describe it. But the one I disliked the least was I'm gonna say the Lucid Dreams by Juice World. I disliked the least, and the reason why is because the beat was kind of cool, even though it didn't rhyme. Obviously, rap has to rhyme, has to have that. What do you all call it? The sick flows. That's what the kids call it. But it didn't. It didn't do that. But I'll give it a pass because he capitalized WRLD in his name, so I'll give him a pass for that. So that's my least disliked. Then Better Now by Post Malone. Because he wears a fur coat in the music video. I thought that was pretty unique. Don't see many rappers doing that ever. And then he also had gold chains on the video. So, you know, who does that in a rap video? And I dislike Travis Scott's Sicko Mode the most.
Wearing chains or anything.
First,
Yeah, I don't think that's a common trend in rap music. Correct me if I'm wrong. Don't correct me. But Sicko Mode is my least favorite, and the reason why is because he says the same line over and over. I don't even think he says anything else, like just the lights on or something of that nature for 5 straight minutes. And
it's lit.
It's lit.
yeah. The lights are on. I think, yeah. So that's my hot take on it. This is garbage. Why the hell would anybody care what I think? I know nothing about this stuff.
Well, I'll tell you why. Because you are so outside of the realm of rap. You've never been a fan and listened to it. It's funny to get your reaction. Whoa, excuse me. It's funny to get your reaction to how weird, and I would personally say awful, the mainstream rap music is right now.
Yeah, like I was saying, I can't pick a favorite one out of this. Like, even though we're gonna be doing
have to every week you're gonna have to. You're gonna have to report back.
Yeah.
You guys start going down the list if like next week these songs are still here?
Exactly. Yeah, we will. Well, I used to do a show called Billboard with my buddy Jack, who will be on in 2 weeks because we are doing an album called Tug Squad, which is about growing your foreskin back through the forcible tugging of your penis skin. That's an album that we're doing. We're almost done with it, actually. But me and Jack used to do a show called...
Everyone does that concept, man. Come on. That's going to be Drake's next album.
Yeah, I shouldn't have leaked that. It's too important. Now, he would have to do quick work because we got 2 songs left and we're filming videos. We got our attire and outfit already picked out. It's going to be fucking fantastic. But we used to do the show called Billboard where we would do an entire fucking review. It was like 2 hours of a review every week on a fucking album. And they were all garbage. So 3 songs is nothing. I don't even know what I was going with there. I don't even know what the original point was. That's how you know
that we were going to go to another 3 if these top 3 were still on the top.
Oh yes, yeah. And we would have to like go down the list because we would do too many of them.
I mean, this thing has been the Lucid Dreams was on the charts. It says for 23 weeks, so we probably have to do 4, 5, and 6 next week.
Well, I do like that the video was weird. Like, I liked the one thing in the video that I did like, any of the videos that I liked was, well, you should have watched, I guess you just went onto the Billboard site. But in the video, there's some lady, like, it's kind of, it's really fucking...
I actually went on YouTube. I did do the diligence of actually watching the whole video. So now I know what you're talking about, the zombie chick.
Yeah, well, he had his head like through the floor. So there was a hole cut out, and he just had his head like poking through the floor, watching this zombie lady like do makeup. But it was really fucking creepy. So I like that.
He freestyles off the dome. Like, you knew rappers never like they never even go.
And that is something that like I just got so animated. I like pointed with both my hands. That is something that's it's. You'll never see it again, and it's nice to know that even this little emo rapper kid is doing it. But you never so like people go on like Funk Master Flex's show, and you know they're going Sway's show. Oh, 5 Fingers of Death. All right, you off the dome, we'll freestyle, and it's like this is all shit that was written for this show. So you just made a song for this show. That's fine. That's still cool to me. But you made a song for the show. Say that you made a song for the show. Don't masquerade it around that it was a freestyle, because that kills the art of freestyling. Because then when young kids like who are used to hearing this shit, which aren't freestyles, they hear an actual person freestyle and they're like, this guy fucking sucks at freestyling. He can't even, he's not even putting concepts together. It's like, no, it's a fucking freestyle. You generally don't do that.
Check out this kid. Like, now that you've seen that Lucid Dream song, check out his freestyle and you'll be baffled. Like, it won't, it's like, it, I find myself saying I'm a fan of him, even though I'm not a fan of, like, I'm not a fan, but like, I love his freestyling. So it's like, I'm partly a fan, just like watching his YouTube freestyles. Like, it will.
I will check it out. It doesn't surprise me that somebody that's not great at putting songs together would be a fantastic freestyler. It's almost weirder to see somebody who is good at freestyling put together good albums. It seems like two separate arts. Like art forms almost. I mean, you look at somebody like, I mean, I guess the classic example would be Cannabis. Cannabis was an astounding freestyler, an astounding battle rapper, and then his albums were, I liked them, but by all accounts, outside of myself, straight fucking garbage.
I mean, this is an obvious pick, but Eminem, really good freestyler.
Yeah.
Really good, song.
Fucking, you know what though? You know what? You know, me personally, you know, the percentage of albums I've liked from Eminem is probably under 12%.
Same for me. That's why I said that, like, almost like, there are people in hip hop and in music in general that you kind of like have earned the respect, you know? And like Eminem, we've talked, see, like Eminem, Jay-Z, Beyonce, none of us want to talk about them, but like they've earned our respect that like they enter our thoughts.
That's a good point.
Like,
that's why I thought the top 5 rapper list would be interesting, because Eminem is probably on my top 5 rapper list, but he's, I mean, if we're talking just straight up best at doing it, not favorite at doing it, but best at doing it, Eminem's on there, but I haven't listened to anything of his and liked it since Marshall Mathers LP, which was, fuck, how many years ago was that? Was that like 15 years? I heard the second one was good, Marshall Mathers LP 2. I didn't listen to it though.
Yeah, I didn't listen to it either. I went to get an aux cord at Target, and some kid was like, "Hey man, do you like Eminem? He just put out a new album." Like,
oh, gross.
I don't know why you think I like Eminem. I just want an aux cord.
Hey, you like rap stuff, right?
Like,
you look like you would like rap.
Yeah. Okay.
I had a guy try to sell me at Best Buy one time. I was probably 15. I came in to buy E1999 Eternal by Bone Thugs. And he tried to give me what, I forget what, like there was like this candy wrapper at the time. I can't remember who it was. And it was this, because remember, Best Buy used to have sales associates. They don't anymore. But there was a guy who came over to me looking at E1999 Eternal. He's like, no, I think you'd like this better. And I can't remember who it was. I think it might have been the guy who had that fuck all your friends, I don't want you back. Fuck you, you hoe, I don't want you. That guy, remember that guy? He wasn't even a rapper. Like, fuck you, you hoe, I don't want you back. Remember that song?
I don't.
No?
Fortunately, I do not remember. Oh, yeah.
It was, damn it, I wish you did. But it's just like the whitest thing in the world. And I remember he's like, I think you'd like this better. And I was like, no, I think I want E1999. It's just a weird moment in my life that I remember. But, well, let me see if there's anything else we need to get to. I mean, how, Joey and Faba both, where can we find you? Where can we find your music?
So, yeah, go to KimJongChill.com. And it'll be whatever I want you to see at that given time. Right now, it's just one of the singles I put out. I'm planning on, having, a link to my album or just stream there. And the only social media I really use is Instagram, KimJongChill_AF. That's where I've been posting my stuff. But yeah, YouTube and SoundCloud, that's where I've been throwing the stuff up. The album is going to be on everything. like Spotify, Amazon, Rhapsody, Napster, LimeWire, like all the, anything that's like HTTP /
You almost got me with Napster. I was zoning out, and you said Napster, and I was like, Napster's still around, huh?
Yeah, any of that stuff that like puts up the like the weird core kind of, that kind of stuff. It'll be, it's on there. It'll be on all the things. So yeah, if there's a 1 and 0 dictating it, then it's on there. Yeah,
solid.
Yeah, KimJongChill.com. If you really, if you Google KimJong Chill, I'm working on my SEO game, but you'll find my SoundCloud now, and hopefully my website soon when you do that. But I just got the website up a few weeks ago. So, but yeah, KimJong Chill. There's a few other weird, random things that are out there when you search KimJong Chill. But and
they're all associated with him.
Nah, not at all. It's like a big collective Banksy project that we're doing. So, but don't tell anyone.
Internet. I don't have any music.
It's good. It's okay. Nobody watches this.
I don't have any music to promote, but I am about to start making music again. I have this idea for a concept that I want to call. Right now, the working title is Raj the Gifted, like Raj RAJ, but Raj is an acronym for Regular Ass Joe, and I want to make I want to rap about like the minutia of life, like just not like literally like a song can be about like walking to La Posada and like how the food tasted. And I want to see, like, it's not anything I necessarily think I want to put out, but I've been journaling lately, and I want to see if I can stretch that journaling to like music,
I think you should do it. That's a cool concept, to be honest. Like the most mundane, boring, everyday shit, you make an album about it.
And see if I can make it interesting, right? Because we all do this shit.
You like the Seinfeld rap?
Yeah. I want to be the Seinfeld rap.
Well, I mean, you're Jewish apparently, so that works.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, it's been fun. Feel free to come back on at any time. I do these weekly, so I usually block out like a week in advance. But I'd love to do another interview with both you guys. You guys are shit.
Thank you so much for having us on, and they're allowing my surprise guest. Yeah.
Oh, of course. Fabo, you can come on at any point.
With Jeremiah J, that's lit. Actually, the track with your man's is lit too.
Mike Regal.
Mike Regal. I was about to call him Mike Eagle.
We gotta give Mike Regal a shout out too. Mike Regal is he did a feature on one of your tracks, and Mike Regal's our dude from Milwaukee. He'll be on here at some point. I'll text him.
He's been doing some work lately, man. He's very prolific. He's doing some big shows. Like, go anyone listening. Like, if you haven't listened to Mike Regal, like you're sleeping.
Yeah, Mike Regal's a shit.
Shout out my GitHub account. I've been making a lot of cool crypto shit. So, Boymanjor, BOYMANJOR, GitHub.com/Boymanjor, BOYMANJOR.
Step up your crypto.
This is the guy to go to for crypto.
Yeah. All right. That's it.
All right, fellas. You have a wonderful day.
Slug, you're the real MVP.
Hell yeah.